have some understanding of what this session is all about. The session is brought about through the instance of the executive. The President wrote to the Speaker, and this is proper, under Section 98 of the Constitution, that the President may ask the Speaker to summon a session of the National Assembly to discuss matters of national concern. The key matter was the extension of the state of public emergency. When they first brought the motion for extension of the state of public emergency, we made it clear to them that we do not want to have a situation where the President will declare a state of emergency, allow it to lapse, and then declare another one, which means that the President will have absolute authority to declare a state of emergency whenever he so desires. That therefore we must exploit the constitutional restraint which ensures the separation of powers and makes it also workable. And Section 34 of the Constitution indicates very clearly that if the President believes that a state of emergency may arise or arises, he can declare a state of public emergency if the threat is evident. That's all that Section 34 provides for the President to do. And if he does that, he can also revoke the declaration, but he is required, if the Parliament is sitting, within 7 days to bring a motion to the National Assembly, and the National Assembly has power by resolution to extend the state of emergency for a period of 90 days or less, not more. But if we are not sitting, then it could extend to 21 days to allow the National Assembly to sit. That 21 days is what is given to the President if we are not sitting, like now we have adjourned sine die. When the President declares a state of emergency, it lasts for 21 days, and Parliament will have to sit to consider its extension. That's all a state of emergency declaration says. It is just simply words on paper. Whether you declare it for 100 days, 1 million days, it has nothing that it can impact on the population. It's just a declaration. What impacts on the country is the regulation. Section 35 of the Constitution provides for the President to be able to have an act of the National Assembly, like the Emergency Powers Act, which will empower the President to be able to make regulations. And we do have an Emergency Powers Act, and that act says that the President can make regulations after the declaration of a state of emergency. Now, my friend, the power of the Assembly is that any time under Section 34, subsection 5, that the state of emergency is declared, the National Assembly can meet and revoke it. So National Assembly has absolute power to revoke a declaration of a state of emergency at any time, even if you give the President a whole year. And once you ensure that you fail to, once that is done, then all the regulations also will lapse. Okay, now, what has happened here? He would have 21 days. And then the National Assembly would have to consider that to be able to sit for any extension to be requested for, and they will decide whether to extend it or not. Now, what has been done here is something that we will still have to go and digest as National Assembly members. Because the executive came to us to request for an extension of what we can revoke at our will. Now, if he did not ask us to convene the emergency session, then we would have still been under adjournment. And therefore, if he declared a state of emergency, he would have 21 days. What is the rationale then? As long as the National Assembly is not sitting, when the president declares a state of emergency, it lasts for 21 days. So every 21 days, it lapses, and you must have a new declaration. So, but that is irrational, and that is what Parliament wanted to avoid. What we wanted to avoid is that when he brings, we extend. You can see the first motion was 90 days, we reduced it to 45 days. Now, the second motion, what could have happened is that when he makes the motion for 45 days, someone from the National Assembly could also rise up and say, no, we don't agree with that, we want it to be 21 days, and then we would have talked about a reconciliation of the two sides, and probably we would have come to 30 days, because it is irrational for the president to request for a National Assembly to be convened when it is not in session, and the state of emergency could have lapsed, and he would have declared it again and get 21 days. What would be the use to come to National Assembly for 21 days? That's not rational. So in essence then, coming to the National Assembly was with the expectation that it will be extended to 45 days. Since they came for 90 days in the first instance, we reduced it to 45. It would have been logical when they come with 45, we say, let's reduce it to 30 days. So in that sense, they will see that we are in control. The regulations, we've analyzed it here. You've heard me say that the closure of mosques and churches, that's a draconian regulation. And it is important for the minister to consider that we don't need to talk about closure. You can just simply talk about a restriction of the gatherings in mosques and all other places, because the objective is to ensure social distancing. And if you had talked to the leaders of mosques and said, well, maybe the most committees, church leaders will be the one who will be attending symbolically to keep them open until we fight this COVID-19, who would not agree with that? So that is the purpose of Parliament, to inject rationality, because what the law says is that whatever regulation is put into operation must be reasonably justifiable to be able to deal with the situation. So our task is to look at the regulation and see what is reasonable and justifiable. That's why some members said, well, closing Lumos did not make sense. And the minister said, yes, it did not make sense. Lumos will be considered on the open markets. And therefore, they will work with the local government to see how they can open it. That is the relationship between the executive and the legislature. It's separation of powers. We have the power of oversight, examining whether something is reasonable and justifiable, and make recommendations. We failed this time, but I'm sure we'll be able to get our acts together next time. Our committees are operative. I'm sure as if they do declare a state of emergency and put the regulations, our duty is to affirm the regulations whenever we are in session. So whatever regulation they put in force will last for the number of days that the president has. That's the 21 days. And then we would have to examine those regulations to affirm or reject it. So in essence then, by revoking the state of emergency, we can take that route, but that's not the route that the president declaring and we come and revoke. What type of a state would operate under such a method of governance? So definitely our committees will be keeping watch of the enforcement of the regulations, and they will continue to interact with the executive to ensure that the best thing is done for the country. The Gambian people should know that this is not about President Barrow, it's not about Halifa Sallah, this is about COVID-19. There is no single member of parliament who will stand and tell you that COVID-19 is not a threat to our existence. So it's a threat. And whatever is a threat is why you declare a state of public emergency. Now, What we must do is to bear in mind that the threat is there. What happens at the level of the Executive and National Assembly is another matter. Each citizen should protect himself or herself, the community, and the people. Maintain safe distance, wash hands, and reduce the exposure to the illness. That is important because we are told here that the peak may come in June. So this is the time to really ensure that we protect ourselves. Therefore, we must move into civic education so that the people will understand that we are dealing with a danger that is ravaging a major power like the United States. We will not allow that to happen here. Thank you very much.